I'm with Coach Dave Miller, head coach of the Kettering Fairmont Firebirds. And Coach, let's talk about Springfield. I'm sure you don't mind doing that.
That's fine.
How does that win rank in your coaching career here at Fairmont?
That's a big one. I think here at Fairmont, just period, to be able to go up and beat a defending state runner-up on their home field, and that's a big deal. But we've had some good wins, but I think our kids believe that, and I think especially last Friday night, they just believe they can play with anybody, and we kind of proved that. So.
Asa Dunleavy hurt his ankle in the game. What's his status?
Not good. he's that was a blow there, and unfortunately the last play. But I have to see it day by day. But it's not good when you lose somebody like that. He did a great job for us, and we just hope he can get back as soon as possible. So.
In the victory, how critical was a quarterback change to Brock Baker?
Well, I don't know. I think Brock gives us maybe a little more explosiveness there. Dylan was more of a game manager for us at quarterback, and both are useful, and that's why they split time the first five games. Really, Dylan kind of got pressed into duty there at halfback because of an injury to Owen Olsen the week before, and we were really thin there. So we played Brock at some wide out and Dylan at some halfback, and that was kind of the need position. But Brock certainly did a good job for us that night, and like I said, he had a couple touchdowns, and he's fairly explosive when he gets the ball. So it's a different element, and then having Dylan in the huddle with him was great. We couldn't have asked for better, honestly. So. It was good all the way around.
We saw the best and the worst of special teams in the second quarter. First, describe what you saw in the Cameron Payne blocked field goal that was returned for a touchdown.
Well, that was he's done that before. He blocked the one at Alter, which was a huge play. In that case, Stevie Doty took it back for a touchdown. But Cameron, came in. He does a great job. We practice that, and it helps not only our field goal block, but also our field goal process, and he does a great job. He got a good jump on the ball, and I think they might have been a little slow, but he took it, and then fortunate bounced right back to him, and he can run. So once he got going, it's hard to catch him. So even those guys up there, but that was great, and like you said, the turnaround. We kick the extra point, we come right back and make a mistake on special teams kicking to Brown, who's one of the fastest kids in the area, and just explosive too. He's going to be doing that on Saturdays, I'm sure. So it's like momentum shift. You couldn't get any bigger than that, but we settled down after that, and I thought we did a good job overall. Just sticking with what we do, not panicking, and I think our kids did a great job of that.
Okay. So let's talk about that 89-yard kickoff return for the touchdown for Springfield. How do you correct that for Friday and beyond?
We got to work on it. That's been a point of emphasis all year, but especially this week because we're seeing another good return team. Miamisburg returned one for 97 yards against Wayne, so it doesn't get any easier. I think in our conference we've had more kickoff returns this year from multiple teams than I can remember. So every week it's just gets harder. So we have to, we're going to do some things structurally and a little bit of personnel too, but just make more of an emphasis of it. We have to do a better job covering it.
The pass defense. Springfield threw for about 200 yards, but only one play went for over 30 yards. Is that credit to the secondary, the pass rush, or both?
I think it's a combination. One of the things we try to do is not give up big plays. I think that 30-yarder happened early. We had a mistake. Our corner jumped inside trying to make a tackle, and we always tell them that they can do it great, but he kind of made a mistake there, and they got 30 yards on us. But yeah, I think overall we emphasize that the week of practice, as far as flying to the ball, because boy, they're explosive. They dink and dump, but it's not your normal dink and dump. Once they catch it in space, they're scary. So credit to our pass rush and secondary for really holding them to 200 yards. That's pretty impressive compared to what they've been doing all year. So that's a good job by the defense.
Okay, now we're going to move on to Miamisburg, and it gets no easier this week with those folks. Miamisburg comes off scoring 42 against Northmont. How tricky is it to prepare for two quarterbacks in Barr and Vaughn?
Well, I think they're real similar. I think number 2 is a better passer probably, but number 18 is not bad, and they have weapons all over the place. I mean, when you look at what they've returned, the McGowan kid is a 3-year starter. Might have had some time as a freshman. Their running back Davis, he's a 4-year starter. And they play 2 quarterbacks. They've done that before, I think, but both are very good. So that it can be tough to prepare for, but I think they do a lot of similar things. So I don't see anything that's drastically different, with the 2. So I don't think that'll be as big of a deal. But just them being as explosive as they are, like you said, it doesn't get any easier for us. But we'll be up to the challenge. I think, our coaches, defensive coaches, Coach McDonald, Coach Roncalli, Borderline, and Freeze, they do a good job preparing our kids, and the kids do a good job executing. So we have to do that again this week.
Another top G-Walk wideout to defend. What type of a receiver is Jackson McGowan?
Just really, really good. I mean, obviously he's getting recruited by a lot of big-time programs. So, and he had a game last week. I mean, he was due. He's scary. I mean, you can't really stop him. You got to kind of slow him down. I think we were able to do that a little bit last year, but part of it was we got on him early. We got a couple picks and set us up, and one we took back for a score, and then the other one set us up right on the 2 or 3 yard line. So we can't expect that to happen. It'd be nice if it would, but I think the key with them is just try to minimize how much they're on the field, and that really has a lot to do with their offense. If we can control the clock. Last week we had 35 minutes time of possession, so part of the 200 yards total offense that Springfield had a lot to do with that. So if our offense is doing what they're supposed to and we don't give up big plays, that's kind of our MO, and we got a chance.
A running back you're familiar with is senior Christian Davis. Is he similar to Drew Baker?
I think so. I think they're very comparable. As far as playing experience, they both, Drew started as a sophomore, Davis started as a freshman, and both hard-nosed kids that run hard, and when they get in the open field, they can beat you with their speed too. So it'd be good night for running backs, I think, in that sense. But hopefully ours has the edge. But
okay, and final question for you. On defense, it seems that junior Baylor, Stickle have I should say juniors Baylor and Stickle have a great year in total tackles and had a special teams block last week. What do you see that makes him so effective?
He just plays with a motor. I mean, a lot of their guys do. They're good on defense. I think they gave us trouble last year, and we talked about this week. It's like, obviously the Springfield game a year ago, we did absolutely nothing. So it was good to kind of redeem ourselves a little bit on Friday from an offensive standpoint. But we struggled with Miamisburg too. So again, like I said, 2 early picks in that game, and we got out to a good lead. We had a 70-yard run by Drew, and then outside of that, we didn't do much, on offense. So we've talked about it. They're well coached. Coach Gillespie does a great job with them. The Schneiders in general, they're good coaches. Have good staff. So we're going to have to work. And the G-Walk doesn't get any easier. I mean, it's every week you got to strap up and play, and that's a good thing though. We've talked about it all year. It's our conference is an absolute bear, and when you look at whoever the champion's going to be, right now Springboro probably has the edge, obviously because they're undefeated, but it's a tough conference. I think they have to go up to Springfield and play up there. So it's a daunting task to try to run the gauntlet through that, but it also makes you battle tested. I think all of us, and if we were able to make it to the postseason, we have a chance to really do something, I think, at the end of it. So, but we're focused right now on the task at hand. So, excited for it.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you again for taking the time to speak with me, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Norm.
I'm with Lance Schneider, the head coach of the Miamisburg Vikings. And, Coach, your biggest victory of the season was last week against Northmont. Let's start with the defense, shutting them out in the second half. What halftime settings led to that shutout?
Well, that's a good question. Really, we did a better job of protecting the football and stopping the big plays in the second half. They got a couple big passes almost in the first half, and so we made a couple adjustments in the secondary to make sure that wasn't going to happen in the second half. But that was pretty much the gist of it. We got off the field on third down, and made a punt. And, when you do that, good things happen.
You used two quarterbacks. How are Preston Barr and Brock Vaughn different from one another?
Well, Preston's more athletic. He's very fast, gets out of the pocket, makes things happen on the perimeter, has a really strong arm. Brock's more cerebral and knows the offense really well. And, they both bring good things to the table for us, and we hope to continue that throughout the rest of the year.
Let's see here. You boast the top wide receiver in the conference with Jackson McGowan with almost 700 yards. What makes him so successful?
Well, he's 6'5", 225 pounds. You don't see too many high school receivers at that size, so he's bigger than most of the defensive backs he's going to go up against. And, his hands are enormous, so he can make one-handed catches very easily and does it a lot, and it doesn't surprise us because we see him all the time. But he's just a matchup problem for most people because he's got a tight end body but plays wide out and runs really good routes, and he's very, very fast.
Okay, defensively, junior Baylor Stickle is the top tackler with 45. Can you give a summary of his talents?
Well, Baylor's probably, if not the top athlete I've ever coached, he's in the top 5 because he's got a 40-inch vertical. He's very strong, very gifted athletically. He's on our track team that goes to the regionals and the relays, and he got to the regionals himself in the 100 meters. So he's very fast. He's just one of them kids that he's fearless. He's not afraid to hit people, that's for sure. And, he's just one of them guys, he makes a lot of plays all over the field. We get the ball to him in the return game. And, he'd probably be our best running back if we played him there, but we really don't have to because we got a stable of those guys too. So he's just one of them dudes. He can do anything that you ask him to do.
He's joined on defense by seniors Desmond Owens and Adian Dyer.
Mm-hmm.
What makes them so effective?
Well, they're both, Aiden's a 2-year starter for us and 3-year letterman, and Desmond played a lot for us last year at safety, and they're two really intelligent kids, so they know the scouting report inside and out when they come to the game on Fridays, and they just kind of are able to decipher things a little bit quicker, but they're very physical. They do a great job getting to the ball, and we're going to need to make a lot of plays Friday.
Finally, penalties in 6 games, including with the 13 last week. How do you work on overcoming those?
Well, I pretty much told them if we get any penalties this week, it's pretty much the game because any penalty is going to help them get yards or help keep the ball away from us. So we've definitely got to take care of that. Part of the problem is I'm up in the press box on Friday night, so there's really not a head coach on the sidelines to help control some of that. But, I've talked to my assistants about it, and they've got to do a better job of keeping themselves under control and the players under control when things are adverse against us, in the case of the referees. And, but a lot of it's on us. I mean, there's false start penalties, there's illegal motion penalties, there's face masks, it's just stuff that you've got to be able to control on your own. I mean, if we can stop having penalties, that's part of the reason we're 3-3. We're a pretty good football team, but penalties have cost us.
And some penalties hurt more than others.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Defensively, you gave up 175 yards in a game on the ground. What's the strategy for containing Drew Baker?
Well, you just got to get a lot of guys to the football. You know, the biggest thing with them is they want to get 4 yards every play. So you got to try to get bodies in there to not let that happen. So you know, he's a kid that he can make some big plays for him, and we just got to do a really good job of assignment football and making sure our guys are doing their jobs on every play to help slow that down.
All right, Coach, a final question. Finally, Fairmont changed quarterbacks with Brock Baker last week. What do you see differently in their offense that led to their win over Springfield?
I don't see a whole lot different. I mean, they're going to do what they do, and they just rely on a good offensive line to move people off the ball and give it to a back that's very capable of getting a lot of yards for you. And that's basically what they do. So I don't see a whole lot of difference between the two, but I guess one hand's off better than the other one.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today, and good luck on Friday.
All right, thank
you. I guess
you.
I'll see you in the press box.
Yes, you will. Thank you.